right, good morning, and we're here once again to wake you up the best way we know how. It's a TV47 breakfast. Karibu sana. My name is Fred Indimuli. A lot of discussions here this morning, but I'll be telling you all about that later.
All right, yeah. My name is Annie Odida, and I was just checking out myself on, on that TV, and I realized I am putting on socks with heels. That is how cold it is. In Nairobi, my bad, sikuwa nimerealize.
Watu wanaumia hapo baridi, but guess what? If you're a hot guy or babe, you don't get to feel cold. Big talking points here. Yes, this morning, of course, the anticipation of the June 25th anniversary. What will happen then? Will it turn out into a violent protest? That still remains the biggest discussion this week. So as we anticipate what will happen on Thursday, that's a big discussion. Of course, the finance bill, it is anticipated that President William Ruto could sign the bill into law today. Are you guys happy? Today, incidentally, we'll be having a member of parliament, a member of the National Assembly, a former member of the National Assembly, and an aspiring member of the National Assembly.
Wow.
Swali ni, wale 186 members of parliament who were absent when they were voting for the finance bill, wanafaa kufanyiwa nini? That's more than half the House.
Yeah. And there are other voting options, virtual, biometric, right?
I don't know. But where were they? More than half of members of the National Assembly. You know, sometimes we are here and we always criticize this National Assembly. Tunaambiwa sijui walifanya nini. 186, that's such a big number.
Yeah.
Some of those people are very vocal in their debate against the finance bill. Wanasema sijui mfanya nini. Ikifika kupiga kura, missing.
Hawataki kukemewa na rais.
Na kazi ni ya nani? Wewe kuja useme sababu utaki kukemewa na viewers. You miss half the show, ama you don't come half the week. No. Other big talking points, of course, Edwin Sifuna. Yesterday, the ODM NEC adopted a resolution by some party committee to oust Sifuna as SG. That is how it stands. This morning, Edwin Sifuna, at least by the decision of the party, is not the Secretary General of ODM. So those are the big discussions. Some politics, issues about the finance bill, and the anticipation of what will happen on Thursday this week.
All right, let's see what's happening globally as well. Today is a public service day, so you're being told to give a big thanks to the public servants who keep our communities running. But do they really deserve it? Do they? Public servants. You know, even your MPs are your public servants. So yeah, today is...
wanakataa kuenda kupiga.
Yes, hadi hao ni public servants. So, are you giving them a big thanks? Ama unawaambia anyway nisiseme hiyo mambo. It's also International Women in Engineering Day today. Yeah, you're being told to donate to the cause and help spread awareness about the amazing opportunities for girls who might have an interest in pursuing career in engineering. Interestingly, today is also International Widows Day. Ushaisikia siku kama hiyo?
You know, every day I learn something. So there's a Widows Day, okay?
There's a Widows Day, and when I came across it, I tried to search if there's International Widowers Day. There's nothing like International Widowers Day, and you know sometimes I've read stories about men actually dying from heartbreak. You know, once they lose their wives, like they can't even stay like more than 5 years. They follow them.
Each other.
Yeah.
You know, it's Men's Mental Health Month. We're still in June, and you do agree now that men are often disregarded, often forgotten. Yeah. In comparison to women. Do you agree now?
Well, you have to create these days for yourselves.
Okay.
You have to fix yourselves. So International Widows Day is more than an observance. It's a beacon of hope, illuminating the challenges and triumphs of widows everywhere. It's a moment to recognize their strength, to pledge our support, and to ensure their voices echo in every corner of the world. Hata Biblia inasema, ukitesa widow,
au widower.
Imetaja widower.
Wote wanakuwa referred to as the same. We say when you talk about men, we are talking about women as well.
Men, yes, men. But you know the opposite of a widow is a widower.
Yes.
The male version of a widow is a widow.
That is all well and good and understood. But when you talk about men, kawaida, and we say men, so we're including women as well.
Yes.
So when you talk about a widow, you can include a widow as well.
You can't talk about women and talk about men.
Anyway.
So these are the things happening globally as well. Yeah.
Yes, before we move on, of course, let's take an update on the World Cup as well. Games played so far. France beat Iraq 3-0 today, early morning, and Norway beat Senegal 3-2. But a big one is coming later on today. That's the England versus Ghana game at 11 p.m. That's a game to look forward to. Currently, Jordan are facing Algeria, another African team. That game is underway currently. And Portugal will face Uzbekistan at 8 p.m. tonight. But the one to wait for, England versus Ghana. Yeah. That's a big game. As far as the World Cup is concerned, we'll be telling you more about what else is there on the papers in as far as the World Cup is concerned.
Absolutely. So keep interacting with us on our socials. TV47 Kenya on Facebook and on YouTube. On X is TV47 Digital. Use the hashtag TV47 Breakfast, hashtag Story Near To. At this point, let's take a look at the state of the weather. All right, we start off in Nyeri. It's a partly sunny day today, 13 degrees this morning, highs of 21 degrees. Kajiado, it's a mostly cloudy day, 13 degrees this morning as well, highs of 21 degrees. In Kwale, it's raining this morning and it's 22 degrees, highs of 27 degrees expected in Kwale today. That's as far as Nyeri, Kajiado and Kwale counties are concerned. Kisumu, it's a partly sunny day. The weather in Kisumu is so good. 27 degrees, the highest expected there today. This morning is 18 degrees. It's a mostly cloudy day in Meru, 13 degrees this morning, highs of 20 degrees. And Nairobi, 14 degrees this morning, highs of 21 degrees. And it's a cloudy day in Nairobi today. That's the state of the weather. Feels like 14 degrees. Yeah.
Yesterday it was very cold. Highs of 21 in Nairobi. Today they say how high?
21.
21. So it's still a chilly day here in the city.
Yeah.
You definitely need some inspiration for you to get through this day. Let's get the quote of the day.
Do one thing every day that scares you.
All right, we start off with the Standard now. Let's take a look at the local dailies. Cry for Justice is the headline on the front page of the Standard this morning. Gen Z second anniversary. A looming showdown, they say. A faceless, digitally organized generation sparked a civic movement that peaked on June 25th, 2024, when protesters breached Parliament during the anti-tax Gen Z uprising. The protests reshaped the political landscape and ushered in a new wave of youth-led activism, but they also turned violent amid widespread allegations of police brutality. 2 years on, the calls for systemic change have not faded. Youth groups, human rights organizations, the clergy and opposition leaders are still demanding justice and accountability from President William Ruto's administration. The Standard has captured the story on page 2 and on page 4. Gen Z demands justice and accountability, that they investigate, arrest and prosecute all public officers and those who command responsibility for the killings, torture and forced disappearances and other human rights violations. They also demand a public apology, that the government must issue a formal public apology for the killings and all other violations committed by state agents during the Gen Z protests.
Yeah, because the debate has been that they're just compensating, yet they're not. There's no justice.
Yeah.
There's a story we've done, and I think we'll be looking at it later, about how many cases the ODPP has dropped, and as far as this June 25th is concerned.
Yeah.
All the ones who are before court, I think there's only one case before court right now, still on. Imagine that. Yet,
Masai's?
I'm not so sure. No, that one, the ODPP actually said they no longer have a case against that person. They can no longer identify or be certain that this was the officer who shot Masai. That
was the only case in court.
Well, we'll look at that story.
Yeah. National Remembrance, they want June 25th declared a national holiday and unveil a national monument to honor the Gen Z heroes. Access, participation, and adequacy of compensation. They say that in addition to other reparative measures, victims and survivors must be meaningfully consulted on all elements of reparation, including restitution, restoration of dignity and livelihoods. Adequate, timely, realistic, and transparent compensation. They say money cannot bring back lives, but it can help restore dignity and support livelihoods. Provide meaningful compensation to survivors and the families of those killed or missing. Guarantees of non-repetition. Make a clear commitment that never again will the police kill innocent Kenyans. Put in place concrete measures to end the killing of innocent citizens. All right, wanasema guarantees of non-repetition. I saw newspapers written today that this year 49, oh yeah, it is in one of the caricatures that this year alone 49 people have been killed in protests. This year alone. Yeah, and Gen Zs are demanding for a guarantee of non-repetition of such incidences. This story is on page 2 and 4. Tukiangalia ndani, page 3, they talk about a defiler of girl. 7-year-old still free despite 30-year sentence. Justice remains unenforced nearly 3 years after a girl was defiled in Kwale with a convict still at large, and his continued absence has raised questions about efforts to arrest him and prolong the family's anxiety. All right, and there's that image. His image is here. The only known image of Salim Said Kuza. He was sentenced to 30 years for defiling a 7-year-old in Kwale, but remains untraced. Well, you know, things like this makes you question, because right now if the DCI and police wants to find you, they will find you.
They will definitely find you. But if they don't want to find you, they won't.
They won't find you. Like something like this now, honestly. Anyway, okay. Page 5, friction in EAC as Karua is deported from Uganda. We'll take a look at that in another newspaper. It has been mentioned in page 6. And DPP drops case linking officers to Indians' death. That's another story on page 11. Tuangalie back page. Matter Sports. For Mo Salah, better days are coming. Salah scored to help Egypt to first World Cup win. Former Liverpool star had made a slow start to the tournament. 92 years, Egypt have had to wait for a World Cup win. Yep, that is a World Cup news. That is the Standard.
All right, let's take a look at the People Daily because it's talking about one of the things that we'll be looking at today. And it's that action by members of the National Assembly dodging the voting for the Finance Bill. Finance Bill fallout, MPs risk rejection in 2027. So they say a political storm is gathering for 186 lawmakers who skipped the crucial budget vote, with critics warning their absence could haunt them at the ballot box. As public anger grows, some lawmakers are scrambling to explain why they missed a session many Kenyans view as a defining test of leadership, accountability, and duty to the people they serve. Now, you see, many Kenyans apparently are not even angry that some MPs voted yes. 122 MPs voted yes, 40 voted no. But they say that's okay. That's their job. Where are these 186 who should have voted, but they skipped, they dodged?
Yeah.
Walikuwa wapi? Sasa that's where the Kenyans are focusing on. You did not do your job. You go vote, whether it's yes or no.
Yeah.
What is your conviction? Do it. It's your job. After all, not all Kenyans either support or reject. Yeah. So you represent your people and go cast your vote. Or then 186 decided, sisi hatutafanya hiyo. And that's a story on page 4. Out of touch, they call it. That's the front page of the People Daily. Other quick highlights here. Power, the real reason Ruto's allies want another term in office. That's a story on page 6. And Kenya bleeds 600 billion shillings through stalled and poorly executed infrastructure projects. That's a story on page 13. But the big one, out of touch. 186 MPs, munakujiwa. Bure kabisa. People Daily.
All right, tuangalie Taifa Leo sasa. Masaibu ya Karua Uganda. Wanaita udikteta. Martha Karua alizuiwa kuingia Uganda jana kumwakilisha kotini wakili wa Kizza Besigye. Arias Lukwago aliyekamatwa kwa amri ya mwanawe Rais Museveni Muhoozi mnamo mwaka 2024. Karua alipitia masaibu kama hayo alipoenda kumtetea Besigye kabla ya kufurushwa nchini Tanzania. Karua is really going through it, and there's huku kwa jirani, these are East African countries.
Remember, she was also deported from Tanzania.
Yes. Kwa mara nyingine kinara wa chama cha PLP afurushwa nchini Uganda alikoenda kuwakilisha wakili kotini. I think she said she realized she's been banned permanently from entering Uganda.
From Uganda. Ito Mohozi Kairenu Gaba.
Vidokezo zaidi, Wakenya wengi hawajui wana ukimwi. Takriban Wakenya 1,300 walioambukizwa hawajapimwa, hali zao wahatarisha maisha. Habari kamili katika ukurasa wa 3. Je, umejipima? Unajua kitambo kulikuwa na these adverts za HIV. I think they should come back. I'm trying to remember. Ile ilikuwa inatishia watu.
Jua hali yako. Je, unajua hali yako?
Sasa wanasema mjui mko na ukimwi. Serikali kusaidia waathiriwa wa moto Gikomba. Moto uliozuka Jumapili usiku ulichoma biashara nyingi, mbali na kuua watu 2 na kujeruhi wengine 17. Interestingly, they've started rebuilding stalls in Gikomba. They never give up.
They never give up. Nachoma by the following day.
Yeah.
So if at all someone intended probably now to ensure that that place is enclosed, if you did not put a fence immediately after the fire, then if you did that, then we would know who was behind the fire. But they are very quick to rebuild. Within hours, they're back in business.
That your moto ilitokea, it's only that building, ile soko wanafaa kuingia ndani, that remained standing tall.
Oh, the new market.
Yeah, the new market.
Lakini ukumembo in 6 months kutakuwa na new market hapo Gikomba.
Si ndio hiyo?
Hiyo bado iko?
Iko ina stand tall hapo.
Okay.
Alright, Juni tarehe 25 serikali yaonya upinzani, Kindiki na Mwaura wakanya wanasiasa kuingilia siku ya ukumbusho wa Gen Z on Thursday. Kule juu on the top strip, Orengo ataka Ruto asitie saini mswada wa fedha, asema mswada huo ulipitishwa na wabunge wachache mno. There's nothing that can be done. He'll just sign it, most probably today.
There are only 162 members in the House.
Yes. This 13th parliament nyini. Uingereza pazuri, timu 3 za Afrika zikiingia dimbani hii leo. Masala ya World Cup pia imezungumziwa hapo katika ukurasa wa 13 wa gazeti la Taifa Leo.
All right, let's take a look at the Daily Nation. That same story that features prominently on the front page of Taifa Leo is also on the front page of Daily Nation, talking about Karua's ordeal at the hands of Ugandan agents. And we have an image there of the PLP party leader Martha Karua addressing journalists at JKIA yesterday upon her return from Uganda, which has declared her persona non grata at Entebbe International Airport. Yeah, that's a big story there. Other stories here, the main headline, puzzle over Ruto's cyber security unit. So the president has established the National Cyber Security Agency, which is packed with security chiefs through an order published in a special issue of the Kenya Gazette. But a seemingly routine executive action has sparked controversy. Yeah. Queries emerged about the procedure for parliamentary approval of the regulations anchoring the agency and its sweeping mandate. You know, Cyber Security Agency, na ile ingine ilikuwa inaitwa nini, ile watu wasitukanane kwa nini mitandaoni. Ikipitishwa wakati huu, around the same time that quite a number of young Kenyans were using social media to send messages, to attack politicians and to do all this, utajipata tabani. That story is on page 4 and 5. The agency mirrors a committee under the Computer Misuse and Cyber Crimes Act. Yes. So now, kuna computer misuse and cyber crimes, which by definition could encompass some of those things that people are doing in June 2024. And now the Cyber Security Agency is in place. Kazi yao ni nini? Kutafuta wale ambao wana misuse computer and cyber crimes. Yes. So chunga sana. Be very careful. So at a glance, the agency's functions include to manage the day-to-day operations of the National Cyber Security Operations Center, as well as to formulate and oversee the implementation of national cyber security agencies for adoption across the public and private sectors, not just the public. Principals trade blame over schools unrest. At least now this story is back on the pages. School heads are meeting for their annual conference. Now they say serikali is to blame. Serikali inasema walimu pia waangalie mashule yao, kuna nini pale. Maswala ya afya hapa, 1 in 5 Kenyans living with HIV does not know it. I think you've talked about that. Yeah. Let's take a look at the inside pages to see what else is big here. Blood on the pulpit, mystery killings expose growing threat facing clergy. Yeah. Unsolved murders and politically linked disputes are exposing clerics to growing insecurity and deadly attacks. You know, viongozi wa makanisa, they used to be very safe. But now, they're no longer safe. Inasemekana donations, political affiliations, and personal connections are making some church leaders targets. Kwanza ile pesa mnapeleka kanisani, inaleta shida sana. Kwingineko, Karua Odile, I think we've talked about that. IPOA says 3 out of 62 deaths in 2024 protests in court. 3. So there are 3 cases. Ahead of Thursday's Gen Z Memorial March, the Independent Policing Oversight Authority has confirmed that only 3 of the 62 deaths linked to the 2024 anti-finance bill protests have reached the courts nearly 2 years after the demonstrations. Hence the question, if at all the government has agreed or admitted culpability by agreeing to compensation, meaning you're admitting that yes, you are wrong, something happened. How come only 3 cases out of 62 deaths have gone to the courts? Who's failing who? Yeah, the government is paying people for enforced disappearance, for killings, for injuries, for all these things. Then where are the culprits? That's the question.
They're saying the remaining 46 cases are at various stages of investigation.
2 years later. 2 years later.
Yeah.
Anyway, your story of HIV, 1 in 5 Kenyans living with HIV unaware of status. That's a big one. And Ebola facility, Duale found in contempt and faces sentencing. Unaona ni kama utamshika.
We. Nakumbuka last year walimwita the Ruto blue-eyed.
Blue-eyed boy.
Yes.
Blue-eyed boy.
Kabisa.
All right. Let's go to the back page. Matters 2026 FIFA World Cup. So they talk about Egypt. Coaches stand halftime pep talk lifts Pharaohs to new heights. Egypt fought back from a goal down on Monday to beat New Zealand 3-1 for their first World Cup victory. So yes, African teams continue to perform very well at the ongoing World Cup in US, Mexico and Canada, and the big one today, England versus Ghana. Nani wamepigwa sasa?
Senegal.
Senegal wamepigwa lakini usijali. Ghana could actually do it for us. I don't know.
Yeah, Africa.
Do you fancy Ghana against England?
Well, it's an African nation, and we are supporting Africans.
Apart from those that don't need us to support.
Yes, yes. Hao watajisupport, watajisaidia wenyewe.
Ni kazi yao.
Ni kazi yao hiyo. But we'll be supporting. Of course, you know, England is also a big team.
Yes.
And there are other people who are supporting
and
England.
England has a lot of Arsenal team players. So
yes.
That's, I'm torn in between, but then again,
we'll support
Africa
both.
First.
Whoever wins, it's a win.
That's a Daily Nation this morning.
All right, Business Daily. Tanzania tycoon in fast gains on EAPC, that is East African Portland Cement and Bamburi buyouts. They say Portland net profit grew nearly 5-fold to 5.53 billion shillings, and twin deals gave access to 31% combined market share. NSE adds 160 billion shillings on US-Iran ceasefire deal on the ticker. State agencies pay 31 billion shillings pending bills. That is in the 9 months to March, helping ease cash flow woes that contractors are grappling with due to unpaid debt. And there's a story here about Spiro. It raises 7 billion shillings for electric bike production. Hawa ni kama huwa wanakona pesa sana. Spiro.
Wale wanakaa kuna pesa.
Ni kama kuna pesa. All right, tuangalie Star Rakaraka. TVET boom, entry hits 1.2 million shillings. Okay, ati shillings. Entry hits 1.2 million as help funds 823,000 students. Yeah, that since 2023, allocation has shot up to 113 billion shillings from 44 billion shillings. Why Mombasa is betting on bicycles to solve its future transport crisis is another story on page 11. Father sentenced to death for poisoning and stabbing 2 daughters aged 3 and 9. Kule juu zaidi, Kalonzo borrows from Obama's playbook in 2027 State House run. That's the Star. Today, fresh, independent and different, being a Tuesday, the Star is not for sale.
All right. Let's cross the border and start off in Uganda. In Uganda, we have the New Vision today. HIV drug. Government gets 19,200 more doses. Hospitals report excessive demand for virus prevention injection. We've been talking about this vaccine that is taken after every 6 months. It's supposed to be in Kenya as well. I think Kenya was the first to roll it out. In Uganda, apparently the demand is very high.
Wow.
So the government is getting close to 20,000 more doses. It's supposed to be given to the most vulnerable demographics in as far as HIV infection is concerned. I do not know how much is in Kenya, but yes, you can see discussions around HIV on the front pages, including in Kenya today, where 1 in 5 people who have HIV do not know they do. Yeah. So a big story in Uganda. Chaotic scenes delay Lukwago bail ruling. And this is Lukwago, this is a lawyer that was to be represented by PLP party leader Martha Karua. So there were delays in his bail ruling. One of them is because his lawyer was declared persona non grata, Martha Karua, in Uganda. Tuvuke border tuingie Tanzania sasa, and you start off with The Citizen. Revealed top drivers of data consumption. So Tanzania's rapidly expanding internet population is fueling fierce competition among global social media platforms, with YouTube and TikTok emerging as the biggest beneficiaries in the race for users' attention, screen time, and data consumption, creating fresh opportunities for telecom operators. You do realize that Tanzanians are very busy online.
Online?
Maybe it's because on my page they keep appearing. I don't know how I ended up there, but I just keep seeing Tanzanians and I'm wondering, why am I seeing this content?
You liked one post and then they said, and kama unatutaka wewe.
Anyway, other stories, concert noise. Dar es Salaam residents suffering in silence. It's a special report and it was contained, it was on the front pages yesterday. That kuna kelele mingi sana from concerts in Dar es Salaam, bars and clubs and entertainment centers. Now the equivalent of NEMA there is hoping to crack down on such spaces. Watu hawalali Dar.
Hayo inaeleweka. We are supporting from hapa.
Wamefika Mirema wakaona vile watu wanapiga dance.
Kwani Mirema bado ziko?
Mirema kulali. Watu walali. Gazeti la Mwananchi, mswada mpya balaa ni ule wa marekebisho ya sheria ya fedha ya mwaka 2026 inayowezesha serikali kukopa benki kuu kwa muda wakati wa dharura. This is the equivalent of the finance bill. They're also discussing the finance bill in Tanzania. Na kuna mambo wanasema kubaliana kila kitu kama hapa tu Kenya. Hii ni sheria ya fedha mwaka huu. So hata finance bill unafikiria tu ninyi mko na finance bill hapa bure kabisa. Huko Chadema hakuna kulala, viongozi wagawana mikoa kuimarisha chama, agenda za Free Tundu Lissu, katiba mpya za shika kasi. Masuala ya chama cha upinzani kule Tanzania Chadema yazidi kunoga. Hii chama I think it's the equivalent of ODM. It's a very big party. It's always on the front pages, but they never win elections. Ni kama chama kuu cha ODM.
Chunga sana.
Tutazungumzia chama cha ODM baadaye, kimemfurusha katibu mkuu Edwin Sifuna. Sijui kutaendelea aje. Sawa sawa. Magazeti ya humo nchini na pia ya kanda ya Afrika Mashariki. Let's come back home and take a look at the caricatures today. We start off with the one on the Daily Nation. And so the cartoonist in the Daily Nation is making fun or poking fun on African leaders. They are watching. You know, in the UK, they've changed their prime ministers quite often. I think in the past 10 years, we've had so many prime ministers in the UK, including one who just was there for 50 days only. So Keir Starmer resigned yesterday. He's the latest to resign as prime minister. So right now, he's just in caretaker capacity as they look for the next one. And then all these presidents that I can identify, Mama Suluhu Hassan, Felix Tshisekedi, our very own President William Ruto, ule jamaa Burundi, Museveni, Salva Kiir, hata Paul Kagame wanauliza, where is he going after half term? At half term. Hata hujamaliza term nusu na unaenda. In Africa, no. In Africa, watu wako term full na washasema wanaenda 2 term. That's a cartoon on the Daily Nation.
All right, the one on the Standard talks about what I talked about earlier, that some 49 people have been shot dead by police this year, according to the latest data from human rights defenders. There's a coffin here, protesters, and police is standing on it. Ahead of June 25th anniversary. That's the Standard. Anyway,
we're just counting the numbers, but so what? They're just dead people. So what? So 62 died in 2024. 49 died this year.
49, yeah, this year. Is it 62?
62 died last year.
I think right now, if we combine, 2024 and 2025, it's over 100, 129 thereabout. And then this year is 49.
But those are just numbers. Police don't care.
Yeah, it's just numbers.
The cartoon on the Star has a caricature of, I think this must be the former deputy president. Amekalia kiti na ni jamaa mkubwa sana, he's a giant. And someone sitting on his lap, I think this is Governor for Siaya, James Orengo, amemkalia kwa lap, alafu anaulizwa, who's the boss? You may be older in as far as politics and law is concerned, but in opposition politics in 2026 in Kenya, who's the boss?
Yeah. All right, finally, the People Daily Stano stake. Is it taking us for a ride? Yeah, government is here, caricatured here. Gen Zs, wanakimbilia compensation. Wanauliza, is it taking us for a ride? Looks like it though, according to Stano.
Yesterday, the main headlines were asking, and one of the headlines were saying, they were demanding that the list of those beneficiaries be made public. That up till now, no one knows. The list is there. It was presented to the president. The report is out. But people are saying, okay, fine, so you just make it public. Who are these people who are going to benefit from the 2 billion shilling fund? Are they genuine? Can we verify? Because some people might be expecting money through compensation. Afu unapata, hauko kwa hiyo list. So who exactly is on that list? That's part of the big conversation this morning. All right. After the break, as I promised, we'll be having a sitting member of parliament. That's James Gakuya, MP Embakasi North. We'll be having a former member of parliament. That's Joe Mutambo, former MP Mwingi Central. And an aspiring member of parliament, Haji Omar, who's an aspirant for the Langata MP's seat. So do stand by for that conversation after the break.
Utupati traffic kwani?
Oh, nataka traffic. Barabara zimejaa. Barabara za Nairobi ziko namna gani? Okay, let's take a look at the traffic situation in and around the city this morning. There's definitely traffic at Githurai, that entire stretch from Kahawa Sukari all the way past Githurai, heading towards town. A long stretch of red. Jana ilikuwa imerudi mpaka huko Ruiru. Yeah, but it would appear today it's just areas around Kahawa Sukari and Githurai. After that, it eases up until you get to that space immediately after Garden City Mall. Before you get to Allsops, some traffic there, basically matatus trying to get people to town. After that, you go all the way to the Utalii Drift. Then you encounter the proper traffic, ile mamayao ya traffic, ile nye uwezi avoid. Ile ya pale Pangani interchange. Hapo, by the way, if you're coming from Thika Road, hato unajua, that's where you have your breakfast. Because hawezi, abu piti hapo. Kiambu Road, not so bad. A bit of traffic there at that Muthaiga dip as you go up towards the Pangani interchange. The other notorious road is Eastern Bypass, and definitely a lot of traffic at Utawala as you head towards the JKIA, Pale KQ headquarters. That roundabout is busy this morning. There's another drift immediately up kwa hiyo fence ya JKIA as you get closer to that Outer Ring interchange. Some traffic on Outer Ring Road, especially around Feather, but not so bad. Kawaida ya Jogoo Road pale Makadara and Motel, a bit of traffic, but pale ni matatu. Huwa zinasimama pale na sijui kwani watu wanakuanga tu hapo. Hapo Makadara you can see that stretch of red all the way mpaka Mbotela. Matatu mingi tu na hazikuishi. After that, a bit of traffic as you get to Shauri Moyo, just close to City Stadium roundabout, and it eases off as you get into town. A bit of traffic pale Mudhurwa kidogo tu, na pale Haile Selassie Avenue between Railways roundabout and Landis Road roundabout. A bit of traffic, but moving in and out of Marikiti area. Not so bad. The other major highways, Mombasa Road, all the way from the airport into the CBD, I cannot see any incidences that should be of concern. That is smooth all the way. On the other side of town, you can see some traffic at Nairobi School as you get past Kangemi. Just a bit of traffic there because there are bumps. After that, ABC Place, Museum Hill interchange is smooth all the way into the CBD. On the other side of town, kama jana, Ngong Road not so bad this morning. At a junction, there's no traffic there. A bit of traffic at Prestige Plaza, that cross junction. But once you get to City Mortuary roundabout, ni mambo tu ya lights, but it's moving very fast. So, fairly easy traffic this morning on the major highways and tributaries into the city. That's the traffic situation today. I can see we'll be having a discussion on water loss. Yes. Can the 2026 budget plug the leaks? It's an interesting story, a discussion coming your way at 8. Absolutely. And later on, we've been maintaining this discussion about AI. The AI revolution, your job, your future. We'll be having Robert Kanyoro Dhuku, who's an AI engineer at GOtv, and CEO Tuku Pay, which is an AI solution. That coming your way at 9 this morning.
All right. Do interact with us through socials, TV47 Kenya, on Facebook and on YouTube, on X, TV47 Digital. Use the hashtag TV47 Breakfast, hashtag story ni yetu. You can tag us. My handle is at Annie_Dida.
Mine is at Fred Ndimuli.
All right. See you after the break.
Sundays at 8:30 p.m.
Good morning.
You have my rent?
Leo jioni kama tutakuwa tumelipa rent, nauza hii simu yako.
Hamna pesa. I need 3 G's to make my nails today.
Sasa hivi natuhusu aje?
Can I order now? Do you ship? Can I get blinking ones?
Mimi nilikuwa na trade. Nimewekelea kitele yangu. Kitele yangu na trade. Nikikunyuma.
Oh my God. He left me. Nitumie ni line.
Uko nje kuna wifi.
Why? High five?
Wait, so what do we call this dish again?
I have no idea.
The
cucumbers are there specifically for my beauty routine.
Tamulini kero make a beauty product.
Na ameenda.
Tunafaa tukuwe na logo yetu. Like, si ni brand already. We won't entertain divas.
No. I'm not dealing with a man child.
Amazing. Sharpen the energy.
Sundays at 8:30 p.m. on TV47. Saturday at 8:30 p.m.
My father used to tell me that our hotel is the home for travelers. I guess I forgot that. Recently, it's been more of a mirror of my own ambition. Booyah! We might fail. We will probably fail, but not for a lack of trying. So for the last time, and the first time, welcome to Connect In, the best experience in Eastern Central Africa and its environs.
Saturday at 8:30 p.m. on TV47. Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m.
This is a very serious place.
I see that. Surely. Hey, Nyumba.
This is the place.
Just for a few days.
Rule number 2.
Kwani Google inajua maisha yangu wewe?
That's my seat.
It's a chair. It was hers.
You're new here?
Yes.
You learned the rhythm.
This place is run by structure. Structure.
It is a system. Ni venye tu ni system haisikizi.
And what happens if something you haven't chosen enters your day?
I remove it.
That's not always going to be possible here.
Then you are going to have a problem.
Noted.
What are you planning? To escape from a resort?
This is not a resort, my friend. This is a storage.
Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. on TV47.
Nairobi, where the hustle never sleeps and neither do the scammers.
Link Up, we are talking about something that's affecting all of us. We are talking trust.
We're diving into the campus life.
Stay fresh, stay safe.
Stay linked up.
My father used to tell me that our hotel is the home for travelers. I guess I forgot that. Recently, it's been more of a mirror of my own ambition. Booyah! We might fail. We will probably fail, but not for a lack of trying. So for the last time, and the first time, welcome to Connect In, the best experience in Eastern Central Africa and its environs.
This is a very serious place.
I see that.
Surely. Hey, Nyumba.
This is the place.
Just for a few days.
Rule number 2.
Kwani Google inajua maisha yangu wewe?
That's my seat.
It's a chair. It was hers.
You're new here?
Yes.
You learned the rhythm.
This place is run by structure. Structure.
It is a system. Ni venye tu ni system haisikizi.
And what happens if something you haven't chosen enters your day?
I remove it.
That's not always going to be possible.
IPOA says that out of the 62 death cases arising from the 2024 Finance Bill protests, only 3 have reached the court. 3 other cases have been referred to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. 1 case is under internal legal review. 4 cases have been closed after investigations. 5 cases have been closed on ODPP direction, and 46 cases are under active investigation. The authority further states that 27 people lost their lives during the June 25, 2025 Gen Z memorial protests. Of these 27 cases, only 1 is before the courts, while investigations are still ongoing into the remaining 26 deaths. The authority says details of cases referred to the ODPP cannot yet be disclosed, as prosecutorial review is still ongoing. IPOA has further assured the public that its role goes beyond recommending compensation for victims. The authority says it remains committed to fast-tracking investigations, reducing case backlogs, recruiting more investigators, and strengthening collaboration with key stakeholders to ensure accountability and the timely delivery of justice. As the country prepares for the planned June 25th commemoration, the government is warning against any form of violence, insisting that while the right to protest is guaranteed under the Constitution, criminal acts and the destruction of property will not be tolerated.
Yes, June 25th, that's the date we're talking about. It's only 2 days out, today being the 23rd of June. A lot of anticipation and anxiety around June 25th, even as we mark the second remembrance of the victims of police brutality from the 2024 deaths. The numbers given there, 62 people, according to IPOA, died in the 2024 incident, around 27 from the last year's incident. I don't know what numbers we'll be looking at this year. The government appears to have admitted liability by agreeing to compensate victims, some who died, some who were maimed, and some who disappeared in the hands of police. But is compensation enough? And is there possible reparations or justice? And that's what we want to talk about this morning with my panelists. As I had promised, we have a sitting member of the National Assembly. We have a former member of the National Assembly and an aspiring member of the National Assembly. I think this is a rare, panel. James Gakuya, MP Embakasi North. Good morning, karibu sana.
Morning to you.
We have Joe Mutambo, former MP Mwingi Central. He'll be telling us if he's going back there. And Haji Omar MP, aspirant Langata constituency. Good morning, gentlemen. Na karibuni sana. So a lot of discussion around the anticipated events of June 25th in 2 days' time. But many questions about what has happened in the last 2 years. The number of deaths. Finally, the government comes and says, fine, we'll compensate these people, sets up a 2 billion shilling fund. But many people are asking, okay, is that enough? Where's the justice? You've seen the numbers there. IPOA says out of 62, only about 3 cases are still in court from the 2024 cases. Last year, out of 27 deaths, only 1 before court. Meaning that it will take a very long time before victims of police brutality get justice, if at all. Is compensation enough, Bwana Gakuya?
Thank you, Dimori. And I'll meet salute you as well while they were watching this morning show. And coming to matter to Gen Z brutality over the last finance bill, I would start to say that Kenya, as a democratic country, we have policies that actually leads the country. and the country required to follow rule of law. But when we have extraordinary force of police to a tune of killing innocent Kenyans, because demonstration does not mean that those are criminals, because in our constitution it is well expressed in our constitution that demonstrations and picketings are allowed by the law, and therefore you cannot use extraordinary force to force people out of demonstration. And in this one, by the government agreeing to compensate, it means actually have just conceded, and it has ceded their commitment to that heinous action. I would say that particular element of compensation is not enough, because it cannot bring back a life lost, and there is no single parent that can be 100% certified that being compensated, that's enough, and that compensation can be able to pay back a life lost. And therefore, I would say, since this was action were undertaken by our police and a particular either order or direction, what I would say is that those who were involved in this shooting of innocent Kenyans, we should have seen them facing the law. But up to date, you would say that in fact it's only one single case or two. But you would ask yourself, what about if the victims were 62 number? We would have seen not even let me not even 60, but at least 20 officers being taken to book, because these 62 innocent Kenyans were shot by police. And it is, Kenya is in technology-wise, we are quite ahead, that those officers were well taken by cameras. So they are known. And if the government want to punish them, they can just use as just a stroke of the pen, and all of them should be seen in the corridors of court. But when you fail to take that kind of direction, it means tomorrow you will still compensate the victims, but tomorrow you use the same police still to also use extraordinary power and still find the same scenario repeating. Therefore, would say we would like to see any future demonstration, those demonstrations must be treated on a manner that our constitution addresses. But we should not be using forces, misuse police, so that you can silence the voices of Kenyans. Because voice of Kenya is well taken care of in the constitution, and we should live to see the government allowing the constitution to flow and drill.
Yes.
Thank you.
And you've just put it very correctly, but Bwana Mutambu, if you look at the numbers and those before court, it means that justice is a bit too far for many of those victims who died due to police brutality. What is the government communicating? One, by accepting to compensate victims of police brutality, those who died. Isn't that an admission of culpability? Isn't that an admission that police officers did something wrong? So where do you go from there? And what is the government communicating, if at all, none of this, or very few of these police officers are prosecuted?
What we need to understand is whose responsibility, who takes care of Kenyans? The answer will go back. It's the government. It is the responsibility to take care of the government, to take care of its own people. Once we get that one right, then there will be no confusion. Number two, it is very true that our constitution guarantees us freedom of expression, freedom to picket, freedom to demonstrate. It is there in the constitution. But while you are doing that, you are not supposed to break the same law which gives you this latitude to do or to picket or to demonstrate. You are not supposed to break the same law which has granted you that permission. If it forbids you doing other things, then you cannot say there is brutality. Then number two, I know very well, and Mheshimiwa Kagwe knows very well, we've been to this city. There are genuine demonstrators in this country. Genuinely. Somebody who leaves their home because they want to pass a message. Either they feel oppressed or otherwise. They want to pass a message. There's that person. And maybe out of that, likewise, there are people who leave their either homes or their shanties or wherever they come from to come and do other jobs. That is their payday. There are people who get paid not by anybody. They make money or they acquire either goods or something when this is happening. So we have two different groups. One is coming to purely pass a message. Another one, and for your information, this other one is coming either to loot from somebody who is operating their own businesses around or from that person who came to demonstrate. Because those who leave their houses to come and demonstrate or leave their homes to come to town to demonstrate, most of them go back without their phones and other things. Where did their phone go? Because there is another team. So how do you treat this team which has left home not to come to demonstrate, but to come and pick my phone while I'm demonstrating, to come and either loot or do any other unlawful acts in the same demonstration? So we sum it up and we say demonstrators were killed. But maybe who killed these people? That's another question. And when it comes now to the question of how many people have been prosecuted for committing these crimes, we know our system, judicial system. And whether you are IPOA, you are DPP, you are police, there is no way you'll take a case in court before you gather all the material needed in court to prosecute your matter. Otherwise, you will take somebody to court. Yes, we have report that 20 people were taken to court, but will that case hold waters? That is another question we need to ask ourselves. Because you cannot take somebody to court just because there's you and I cry. Then the last question is about compensation. You know, Kenyans, we are very funny people. It is us Kenyans, and I remember I was seated here with you when we had groups of people calling for compensation. The government must compensate these people. That was the call then. Now, when the government now comes and compensates as requested by the Kenyans, now the same people who are saying that, they are saying, now the government is admitting liability. Now, what, you know, sometimes I tease my wife sometime and I ask her, when am I right? When I bring you flowers, you complain. Why are you bringing flowers? You have done something. When I don't bring, you complain. So where am I? Yeah, I mean. But
Mutambu, are you saying that out of the 62, that most of those who were killed were those criminal elements? And even if they were criminal elements, is that how police need to work to deal with criminal elements? Are you saying also that none of the genuine protesters were killed by police? And if they were killed, is there a way of investigating and ensuring that those culpable are taken to court?
Yes, there is a way of investigating. And it is my belief that that is what is happening now. 2 years later, one case? Let me tell you, investigation, I've done a bit of law, okay? Investigation, actually I did criminal investigation. Investigation is not just, it is Gaguya, pick him, take him to court. There are so many details required. And do you know what? One of the challenges actually we have in our country, it is the people to provide that information required. Something can happen here, and we are all of us here, and there is nobody who is willing to either volunteer themselves or to give information to that to the police, that information to police, or to go to the police and record a statement which is required in court to prove that actually Kagwea did this. So the same people who are supposed to give information to police, they are not offering to give information to police.
Right. But Haji, now the effect of this is that as we anticipate June 25th, 2026, and the events that will occur, we're still not sure what will happen. Many police will feel the relief that they can do whatever, they can be trigger happy on the streets, kill people. After all, we'll just compensate them, and no one will be held to account.
First of all, good morning to everyone. Allow me to pass my greetings to everyone. And Fred, you've asked something that is very sensitive and actually my worry as well. To be honest, when we make it like it's a normal thing, this is something that is going to continue. And I beg to differ with him that, you know, the people who were shot were not only goons, actually. Many people got shot who are innocent protesters, including myself. I went to protest, okay, not on the June 25th, but in August 9. I was also shot at, you understand? So I was lucky to survive, and I'm happy, and I'm grateful to God. But at the end of the day, it happened where we were simply exercising our constitutional right, and nobody paid us. I'm a hardworking Kenyan, I'm a business owner. I mean, I felt that it's my right to go and protest something that, you know, we all felt that would change our lives completely, you know, and make things so much difficult as it is. We're in a situation where, you know, we just hand to mouth, trying to barely make ends meet, and then, you know, all of a sudden you hear there's a finance bill, and, you know, the things are ridiculous. And when you look at the position of the government at that time, people were displaying so much opulence, you know, wearing hundreds of millions worth of watches, you know, flying around with helicopters, like, you know, they're just taking Ubers. So to be honest, every Kenyan had that zest to come out and just, you know, express their frustration, because we are suffering on this end, yet we're seeing, you know, the most lucrative career at this point in time would be being in the government. So to be honest, people came out without, you know, fear, without being paid and everything, and it was a very good protest. You know, I ended up meeting some of my friends and everyone. It was a proper protest where you actually meet people you were with in high school, you know. This was an organic protest, you understand? But later on, of course, things changed, and I was one of the witnesses. I saw how things changed around 3-4 p.m. where now goons came in and broke into City Hall and started doing a lot of chaos and all that. So, of course, people with bad intentions came and overrode that. But it's a traumatizing effect, Fred, let me tell you. I strongly support commemorating this day, because it was not a normal day in Kenya. It was a day in history where, you know, Kenyans came out the largest in numbers, and this should have been a call to the government that something is not right, and, you know, action would have been immediately taken, you know, like in a constructive way. But around 3-4 p.m. when we heard that Parliament was stormed, you know, like it was a moment of few minutes of freedom, to be honest. Many of the people were celebrating. I wish you were there to see it, in the middle of the street, throwing tissue up in the sky, celebrating that, you know, finally maybe they actually removed what was in their heart, you understand? Only to hear that, of course, you know, the army was released against its own citizens. So we lost lives. Sadly, Rex was shot just meters away from where I was, and, you know, someone came running backwards and said, they just shot this guy, you understand? 3 people were shot at the same time. That was the first killing that started happening. And could have been me, could have been my cousin, could have been my friends that were all there. You know, it was just not our day. Families lost lives. The mothers that were, you know, crying out for justice, number one. Accountability. They all come together where there's justice for them, and there's also accountability for the people who committed these crimes. These are crimes, Fred. We see it on live video, man. The guy is just shooting someone, and literally there's no threat. The guy is just going in to enter a car, and he just decides, let me just shoot this guy out before I go. You understand? And it's all on tape, Fred. It's all on tape. So to be honest, it's very sad, and if we don't take action, what's coming next is scary.
Do you anticipate any action will be taken against any police officer? If at all, 2 years later, it's only about one case before court?
If not in this government, the next government, at the end of the day, justice will prevail. At the end of the day, we have to get justice. If this is not done, this will be a repetitive issue moving on to the future. It might even end up in a worse situation.
Do you feel the compensation plan is enough? You talked about mothers still crying for the lives of their children.
It's not enough. Like we've had lawyers, like Senior Counsel Orengo, you know, Governor mentioned very clearly that he goes to court for such normal cases and it's 20, 30 million normally at a normal scale. So if you're giving someone 2, 3 million, you know, I mean, as much as even 30 million is not worth a life lost, but we should peg it around the same amount that is normally given. You understand? Like an average of what compensation is given for a normal crime. This is a normal crime. So let's do an average and see why are people getting in the cost 20, 30 million, but yet in this form of compensation where people were not even committing a crime and they are supposed to be compensated duly. Why not give them the same amount, number one? Number two, if you look at the respected leaders going to visit these families, you understand? Like at Linda Mwananchi, we have been really working with these families, you know, like we've visited these families, we've gone for the funerals, we're in touch with some of these families. You know, that's what we expected from the government. You understand? We can do it on behalf of the people, but to be honest, we have to make sure that these people are given justice, accountability, and also make sure that there's an apology and a strategy, most important, so that it doesn't happen again in the future.
Yes.
Why can't we have protests organized the same way we've organized the marathon? Yeah. You know what I mean? Where we don't even have armed police. You understand? Just guiding us and making sure everything is going the right way.
One of the cartoons on the dailies today says, it's the one on the Standard, talks about some 49 people have been shot dead by police this year, according to the latest data from human rights defenders. That means that this is something that will go on, that police no longer feel like they should be accountable to anyone because no one is holding them to account. Some of this data is from MyPoa. Last year, after the 62 in 2024, last year 27 were shot dead. Do you see that stopping now, just simply because the government is compensating people?
Idimuli, if you fail to punish somebody who has made an action that is out of the law, at what time do you think that that person will feel the pain of what he did, which is negative? I think the government should, at this particular moment, we have gone too far that from the time when this particular event took place to date, things are still piling every day, every other day. And I want to state very categorically that you remember there was a habit that started coming out when a particular day is meant for a demonstration, then the government gets into bed with the goons, and you find them in the streets of the city, guarding the goons with the, what we call djembe sticks, where these goons were mugging people, were looting shops in front of the security officers. Then the big question, the big question cracks: who is under control? Who is protecting the law? Because the police is the enforcer, and if the person entrusted to enforce is the one who is manning goons, then you feel to understand whether are we in Haiti or are we in Kenya. And I think the government should come strong and take the necessary actions. Otherwise, this country cannot be left to be as if it is lawlessness, as if we are in jungle, as if this country is under the banana republic, because this is completely out of the law, out of constitution, and this is being done with the full knowledge of the government. So the state is the one which is protecting these this police brutality, and they are doing so because they want to silence the youths. And they must use the police brutality so that these youths can be taught. And I can tell you for sure, this is not the route to go. And this is not the way to govern. I believe that, in fact, we have many other mechanisms that we can handle to deal with youths. You can talk to them because their demand, in fact, they are not demanding from Somali. They are demanding their rights in Kenya because they are Kenyans. And if we cannot be able to follow the rule of law, then we must be using those jungle routes to silence our young ones. Then we are completely lost. And I would like to say, as much as we want to blame the police which does these actions, we must first blame the state, because the state is the one which is using these police to go that direction. I am telling you, we have heard from the head of state himself, giving instructions to shoot on the leg. How can you, as a head of state, provoke that kind of instruction to police? That you are telling police, shoot. And let me tell you, if you allow a police to shoot on the leg, it means if he can miss the leg, he will shoot somewhere else. And therefore, that means even the head of state, you don't care to the community you are leading. And that's what I'm saying. It must lead from the top, from the head of state. And he is the one to create that discipline downward. If we cannot, then the police will be lawlessness. Okay. And we will be having as if a country that doesn't have law.
Yeah, Mutambo, you talked about the weaknesses in prosecuting such cases. You talked about the loopholes and the challenges in actually getting evidence. Some people are demanding for public inquiries into this incidents. Do you think that would help? That a public inquiry would be better than a police investigation, because leaving police to investigate themselves is also quite a challenge?
First and foremost, before I answer your question, I want to clarify something which I said, and my good friend here, I think he misunderstood me. I never said that anybody who went to demonstrate is a criminal. No. And I did not say that those who were shot were purely criminals. No. In instances like this, when there is a commotion, anything can happen to anybody, even to innocent people. We have had several cases whereby people are caught on a crossfire. People who are not even in those demonstrations, bullets find them somewhere. All right? Number two, as we do that and as we ask for whatever we want to ask, there's a question we wanted to have distinction about it. What is demonstration? Okay, what is demonstration? Once we understand that, then we will have no
the law allows
issue.
Peaceful demonstration.
Thank you. Peaceful demonstration. Is burning parliament part of peaceful demonstration? Is burning City Hall part of demonstration? Is looting part of demonstration? And when that happens, what do we need to do about it? We have had cases whereby the same police have been accused of not acting. You hear people say, you see, my shop was being attacked and the police was standing there. Now, what do you want that police to do? What do you expect from that police? We've been sitting here with a very good friend of mine, a council called Kinyanjui, and he was complaining that his phone was snatched and the police was standing there. Now, he went to stand with those people and to fight for them, and they are snatching his phone. Now he's taking the case back to police. The police are doing nothing about it. What are we expecting the police to do? Because on the other hand,
solution be killing
No. I'm asking, what are we expecting the police to react at that particular moment?
But
you are one police.
He's a trained officer.
Or three police. You know,
a trained officer with skills to know how to handle such cases.
Let me tell you, anybody who says that you have a crowd of 100 people, you are one single or three single police officers, okay?
What are you supposed to do?
But Amutambo, the question you're asking is a rather telling one, because are you saying that the police are not equipped to handle criminal elements?
Now, that equipment, you are equipped to handle. How do you use that equipment? When you tell me now the police is equipped, that equipment, how do you use it?
I'm talking about resources even beyond the arms. Like they have proper training on how to handle criminal elements.
Let me tell you, the people you deal with are more even trained.
Are you justifying the shootings? Because
I'm not justifying. Yeah. I just want to know what is it that expected.
No, I mean, you see, Andimuli, yes. I mean, they're given equipment in a situation where things get really bad. They can even fire the air, whatever the case. You know what I mean? What he's saying is that people burnt Parliament. What he's saying is people burnt City Hall. You are not on the ground. We were on the ground. It's not the people who came out to protest who set the fires. Just like the Gikomba market. This is all a situation that was even done by the state, I'm telling you. Because as the Gen Z were being flushed out of Parliament, did you see any fire inside there? Let me ask you that question in Ndimuli. As the people were kicked out and there was security flashing the ground, was there a fire inside or even a smoke inside Parliament? You know, we have to be serious. Some goons are sent to City Hall and I saw them coming in and breaking the door. Initially, even the people of City Hall were giving us water, and there was it was a very peaceful demonstration. Business owners were giving us water. It was a good day, you know. The churches, the mosques were supporting people. So, you know, everything was okay. He's talking about the fires and everything, yet we're seeing it on live tape, a police shooting a protester, you know, while entering a car. We're seeing a policeman shooting a tear gas on someone's head, live. I don't know if you remember that clip. Where there are some policemen catching a protester and shooting them on close range with tear gas on their head, brother.
Edemoli.
Yes.
That is where we go wrong.
You have held someone, two people holding one person.
That is where we go wrong. When I hear my friend saying that he was there and he saw who touched Parliament, and we are talking of 2 years or 1 year down the line and action has not been taken, I will revert the same question to him. Within those 2 years, have you reported this matter to police? And are you willing to help police with the investigation?
Hence why I asked
I saw
a public inquiry.
Yes, he says that I saw it and I was there. So nothing has happened. And we are here claiming that the government has not done nothing. And the government requires this vital information from him so that they can act. So when you relax and you expect the police to do or to say what you saw, and it is you who saw, that is one of the mistakes
Where would you, as a Kenyan,
that is one of the
shortcomings. As a Kenyan, report police failure? Where would you go to report that?
That's why we have IPOA. The law is very clear. You have a problem with the police, we have IPOA. Where we take our issues about the police.
All these issues.
We have institutions. Actually, we are not lacking laws and institutions and the parameters on how to handle matters in this country, whether related to police, whether related to civilian, whether related to MPs, whether related to the president. Every institution, there is a law governing, and there is a mechanism on how you can either report. If Mheshimiwa Kagwe here is not performing his duty, the law requires, gives its people, authority to recall him. Okay. If the president is not working well, we have a Senate which can impeach the president. We have IPOA where we can report the police.
We're anticipating these actions in 2 days' time, Bwana Gakuya. On Thursday this week, police will be out there, protesters will be out there, whether just in remembrance of the victims. Goons may also come out. There could be other protesters complaining about other issues as well on the streets. Some have even called it a public holiday. The government has said, no, it should not be. Do you think there's a better way of handling this day? Now that it's the third year that it's happening, should we, moving forward, probably treat this day a bit different, declare it a public holiday probably, so that we do not see what we witnessed last year? Or should we just wait, vile itakuje ikuje?
In fact, my take on this is that because I've been witnessing how Gen Z's demonstrations have been taking place, those young team are very harmless because they are walking on their phones up and they are doing nothing else. So they are not the ones that are used to touch things. That is a different goal. And I can tell you, wherever there was a touch, that is a different category of demonstrators who sneaks in just to harm. But in fact, the little youths that actually were coming out for a finance bill demonstration, they were purely for that particular assignment. what I would say is that since we have seen the state has not been able to distinguish and separate the goons and the real demonstrators, this can bring issues, because I am sure intentionally, deliberately, they can still bring goons in so that they can claim the demonstrators are the one who are doing those actions, and therefore harm the real demonstrators. So in this case, I would say police should take control. They should decide the areas of demonstration so that they can allow demonstrators to use a particular parameters where they should guard those demonstrations peacefully, so that we can eliminate those other goonism that comes in. And therefore, any goon that will be found in looting, mugging, that can be dealt with as a criminal. But we should allow the peaceful demonstrators to do their mission, because this is a country, and when people has jitters, when people have pains, there are ways to relinquish or to remove pain is to demonstrate and speak themselves. And you cannot close this worldwide is the way to go. But the government itself, the state itself, is the big problem, because they introduce goons for cover up. And therefore, so that they can be able to claim the demonstrators are in charge of those routing and everything else. But if it can be distinguished and give demonstrators their route, they will be able to demonstrate peacefully, and at the tail end, nobody will be harmed.
Okay, what's your suggestion on how it should be handled this time round? Because we cannot just sit back and expect more deaths every year on June 25th.
What I'm not getting clear from my good friend Kakuya, when he says the government should distinguish between the goons and the real demonstrators. How would you tell a person who has left their place marching to town whether it's a real demonstrator or it's a goon? How would you tell?
Isn't that the work of the police?
How would, I want this magic.
You seem to
I want to know this.
Police
No, I'm not defending. I'm not defending. Me, I like being very fair. I want to know this magic, which the police, because a police is like you. It's me, it's you. The police has got no other...
With a lot of training.
That training. How would now police come and stand here and know that Kagwe is a thug and I'm not?
They are trained to identify criminal elements.
How? When people are just marching peacefully.
Okay, now let me...
How would you...
Let me ask him. Please answer the Governor Gakuya's question, where police are escorting looters and they're looting and police are escorting them from shop to shop.
I asked a simple question. When these people come, you don't know who is the right looter and who is a demonstrator. And now, because we are claiming that police are there when people are looting, I pose the same question to you. What is the expectation of Kenyans, or what is your expectation the police should do this and that? What do you want the police to do on that particular man?
Shouldn't they
when the police act, let me tell you, when the police act, when they try to dispatch those people, either by way of tear gas or otherwise, the same people are saying the police are throwing tear gas to us. So what is the police supposed to do? You know me, I want to know that magic.
I think it's been we're expressly talking about the killings, using brutal force, using guns, causing death. Use of tear gas in crowd control is allowed, and those are the resources I'm saying police already have. But listening to you seem to be defending the police and their ability to intervene in obvious criminal occurrences?
No, I'm not defending police. I want to know what is expected, because the moment the police does what they are supposed to do, it becomes a problem. And I've given you a very good analogy of coming up with flowers and not coming, and what you get out of it. That we are in that situation, and this is what you're arguing. What we need to do is to understand the logic on how to handle matters of demonstration. And if we are demonstrating, we need to understand I'm going to demonstrate to pass a message and nothing extra, nothing more. Now, if I leave my house and I know I'm going to demonstrate, I will not know what is the intention of my good friend who is here. All right? So, likewise, since you cannot tell, because you're a demonstrator and you know this is your event, and you cannot tell who has intruded or not, it is not possible for police, who is not even a part of that arrangement.
But isn't every Kenyan under the same law, that my understanding is that if I commit a crime, I'll be dealt with by it's called the long arm of the law, the police. That whenever I commit a crime, I have no excuse. The police will take charge.
Let me tell you, there are situations whereby a police cannot arrest anybody. When you have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people marching to do something, okay? And they have that anchor, and you are one police officer here with a rungu and maybe with a gun. I'm telling you, there's nothing that police can do. Let us have the fact and let's know it as a truth. The police, they will only do what they can do to prevent it.
How different should it be this time around?
No, to be honest, if I was in the position of the president, I would have, booked out the whole of Uhuru Park, done something proper for these people who have fallen. We call them fallen soldiers. These were just people who are innocent. And even as he's saying that even if these people were overpowering, the people and they shot out of self-defense, then at least the government, if they can accept it and then now move to the next stage where now we declare this like a holiday, or at least set up something and give some respect to the fallen soldiers. You understand? They could have done something great, invite the Gen Zs, do a public apology, whatever happened, guys, let's look to a new page. That's how I would have done it. The same way there's a marathon, where there are no goons who are allowed to join the marathon, where there's police protecting the runners, and then it's a safe, proper thing, and it ends at this time. They can be given a time, start at this time, go to this time, walk from JKIA all the way to, for example, Uhuru Park, sit down together. The state can sponsor this event to show that at least there was some pain involved in that. But here on the other side, you're hearing lots of threats that you dare go to protest. When you're going to a protest and it's peaceful, and you're seeing people coming in with and provoking the protesters, you understand? Coming in with guns and shining them to the protesters and, bullying the protesters, you understand? It's like they're provoking them to start doing something. But if you bring in civilian policemen at the first to protect these people and guide a peaceful demonstration, and if things get worse, escalate to the allowed mechanisms where, we have tear gas and crowd control and barriers and all that. Put them in a place where things are okay, but do something where people are allowed to frustrate them, remove their frustrations, Even a kid sometimes will go to a corner and just cry it out, you understand? So this is the way of a citizen to cry it out. He said that people came with anger. Why are they angry in the first place? This is the question mark. These young people are looking for jobs. These people are looking for accountability. These young people are looking for security. These people are looking to be heard. You understand? Small things that are free. We don't even need World Bank to come in for such things. You understand? So to be honest, the minimum is that we need to reconcile as a country. When the leaders just do a handshake right at the top there, they don't know that how bad they have left the people at the bottom. They have separated us. They've cut every tie around us. There's so much of bitterness, and this is just giving them 2-3 million is like putting things under the carpet and that's it. That's not how things are done.
Right. 62 people, according to IPOA, died in 2024, June 25th. Other sources give different data. Some say more than 100 people. Last year, according to IPOA data, 27 people died. Other sources say more than 50 died. So should we be looking at counting more numbers this year? And how can you do it different? In 2 days' time, when we mark the second anniversary of the events of June 25th, 2024. That has been the discussion. I want us to move to another linked discussion because the events of June 25th, 2024 are mainly about the finance bill. That piece of legislation, it is anticipated the president will assent into law today. That's the anticipation. This could lead to other issues as well. But I want us to look at how this was passed in Parliament. On the front page of the People Daily, they have this story. Allow me to read directly on the headline because it lays a direct accusation against members of the National Assembly. Finance bill fallout. MPs risk rejection in 2027. A political storm is gathering for 186 lawmakers, which is way above 50% of members of the National Assembly, who skipped the crucial budget vote, with critics warning their absence could haunt them at the ballot box. As public anger grows, some lawmakers are scrambling to explain why they missed a session many Kenyans view as a defining test of leadership, accountability, and duty to the people they serve. As I said, we have a sitting member of the National Assembly, a former member of the National Assembly, and an aspiring member of the National Assembly today. Who else to ask this question to? These are your colleagues. I'm not certain whether you are in the House yourself on voting.
Personally, I was.
And you cast your vote.
I cast it.
What do you think about more than half of the members of the National Assembly being away from such a crucial vote?
What I would say is that the worst thing is to abstain and stay away from the casting of a vote. Because, one, it's better to be known where your position is, because the importance of that particular vote is to cast a decision whether to drop the finance bill or to approve it. But the absence of the 186 did not assist the bill to fail. They assisted the bill to pass. So I think even though they wanted to hide their faces from the eye of public, still you carry the blame home because you never casted your vote. Remember, 122 voted for it, 40 voted against it. If 186 felt that they don't want to go astray against the wishes of Wanjiku, they ought to have been in the floor of the House to vote no, so that they can go to the direction that Wanjiku wanted.
What do you feel was the main reason? Because some of the members who are very vocal inside the House during debate were absent on voting day. Is it fear of being known to have voted yes, or they don't want to be seen to have voted? What exactly is it? Why do they fear being seen making a decision?
One, what I would say is that I know majority of them, and a majority that supports the government, wanted not to be known their position. And they decided not to stay away so that they cannot be counted as part of those who supports the finance bill. But either way, whether you stay away and the bill passed, then you never assisted that common monarchy. Because if your base to stay away was not to, was just to entice Wanjiku so that at least you could be in good books with Wanjiku. At the tail end, what Wanjiku wanted was beaten. And you are the cause of that particular cause. But in fact, because you want to praise, the problem is that you are between Abari, where you want to appease your master. At the same time, you want to appease Wanjiku. It can't work.
Do you think this was a collective decision that probably they were told as a group don't? Or it was each member, each of the 186 members who made an individual decision that I will not appear there?
I am sure that, in fact, the wish of the master was them to be on the floor of the House. Mm-hmm. But individually, everybody was protected. Because as you know, Edimoni, we are just some few meters to an election. And people knew that, in fact, how jitter the last finance bill was. And therefore, at this particular moment, they wanted to completely to hide their face from the light of the public. But what I'm insisting is that either way, including my good friend Didi Nyoro, who was completely against the bill in the floor of the House. But once you feel not to appear in the floor, to vote against it, because that was the final stage, either to approve it in the last reading or to drop it, then you don't assist the battle you started. I think it was important for those people who failed to appear in the House. The main thing is that you should either praise, you praise your master, but for a very short time. Mm-hmm. In the long time will be the Wanjiku. So I think you have not escaped the dragnet. Mm-hmm. Still will meet Wanjiku outside. Because still Wanjiku believes you stayed away because you don't want to participate. Yes. But whether you participated or not, still you let the bill be defeated.
Right. This same story notes that the public anger is not at even the people who voted yes or no. At least those who voted, people have no problem with them, whichever way they voted. It's the people who stayed away. More than half of members of the National Assembly. Has this ever happened in your recent history, that more more than half the House just decide, for this crucial vote, we're abstaining?
You know, Idimuli, I think it is high time for Kenyans to understand that most of their leaders, they lie to them. The information they give them is not correct. My view on this is that these leaders, including my good friend here, even whether he voted yes or no.
Including yourself.
Including myself.
Yes.
We know very well any country, any government to thrive, there must be a budget. And that same budget, let me tell you, it is the same budget which caters for the salary of the same MPs. Okay? So if they vote no to that, there will be no salary. And they are heading to election. If they vote no to that, there will be no CDF. And they are heading to election. If they vote no to that, there are so many things which will miss out, and they need them, and they are in that paper, which they are telling Kenyans that this paper is very bad, this bill is very bad, but when it comes now to self-reflection, when it comes to their personal interest, their interest is covered in that bill. So they need it more than even the president himself. And by doing that, they would want it to pass. And they scan. They know that we are supporting, so-and-so is supporting that, and those will be in parliament. So that's enough. It will go through. It's not that they're dumb. Let me tell you, there's no member of parliament who is stupid. They are clever. And this is the same analogy I give people. When I hear people say, you know, me, I can't work with the president. Me, I cannot work with the Ruto. This, that. But behind them, and if you give me a latitude to explain this, these people seated here, we will hear some saying, we cannot work with Ruto. But the same people, when they go back to their villages, and tomorrow you hear there's a recruitment of army, they will send their children to go and get those positions. Okay? The question is, you are sending your child to be recruited as a police officer or as an army officer to work with who? Who is the commander-in-chief? If you are not lying to yourself, you will say he is going to work for the government. Who is leading the government? So how come you yourself cannot work with the same government? So what my point, this is my point. Let me take my point home. These members of parliament boycotting the parliament or the sitting is because they wanted the bill to pass. But what they are doing, they are preaching waters and drinking wine. They are not open to the people.
Yet there are quite a number of members who are openly known to support President William Ruto, and many expected them to vote yes. Why stay away? Why not just appear in parliament and vote yes to the bill?
Because they are not true to themselves. They are not true to their people. Whatever they are saying, or maybe they are lying to the president. They are not telling me the truth. I can tell you, I know people who stand on the TV and everywhere, say, I support the president. But when they go back home, and Kagwe will tell you, and he knows them, the narrative is different. So, like he said, you know, in politics, you cannot be everywhere. You have to be somewhere. You are either with him or you are not. And if you are the president, you have to be the president from top to your grassroots.
Are you saying those who would have voted yes but did not, hoodwinking the president?
I can tell you some of them are lying.
To the president?
Yes, some of them. Those who are shouting so loudly. And I have no problem. They are all my colleagues and I know them. I can tell you they are lying. Because what they are telling him is not what they are telling the wananchi. And the people who will employ the president is not a member of parliament. It is those masses. Those are the people who will give the president votes.
Yes.
So because they don't want to disagree, or like the way he's putting it, you cannot appease two masters. You want to appease the masters on the ground, and you want to appease the president who is maybe supporting him in many things, like supporting him with the project and all those kind of things, and being there for them when they need him. But when they go down there, they are being told by their people, this is different. Okay? Here, don't tell us about this. Then, instead of telling the president what the people have told them, they tell him, ground equals our Your Excellency. I will not do that. I cannot.
But it would appear that members of parliament have brought this dilemma onto themselves, that they ceded their authority, they ceded their influence, and now they're scared of even making a decision openly. We've always talked about this 13th Parliament being the weakest link for Kenyans. Do you agree that they brought it upon themselves?
Well, to be honest, in Demoli, the report is out there that almost 60-something% of the Parliament MPs will not be returning back. And I can tell you this will be almost 90% guarantee. Take it from me. And I'm sure many of us will agree that many of them are not coming back. Why? Because a job of an MP is to represent the voice of their constituents. Their constituents are saying something about the finance bill. Should have been some consultation between the MP and the people, and make sure that things are going on well. How would I have handled it if I was an MP, whether, regardless of my personal beliefs, I would have listened to the people and vote according to what my people are saying. That's the job that is there. But if you're getting a salary, if you're chosen by the people, first of all, secondly, you are paid a salary to vote. You understand? Not only to vote, but to do your job. And one of the most important jobs is to vote, yes or no, to an important bill, which is the finance bill, that is concerning every Kenyan who is really finding it hard to barely make ends meet. You understand? So these people have failed at their job in the first place. By not showing up is a big insult to the Mwananchi, because at the end of the day, that's why we kept you there, to help us voice our concerns. And then I bring you back to the other finance bill, where even Kenyans were WhatsApping their MPs and telling them, vote this, no, reject the finance bill. But they still did what they wanted. You understand? And that's why the wrath came in, because we are telling you this and you are doing that, trying to please the master. You understand? So to be honest, it's a shame. It's a shame, and I think this is a really bad thing, and the president really needs to relook into this. If this is what he's saying, what they are saying rather, the people are intentionally missing out on voting, number one. Number two, some of them are voting regardless of whether they are not happy with the finance bill or not. It's because they need a salary and they need to make sure that they are ready for the campaigns next year. I don't know which campaign they're looking at, but if they are not voting and they are really trying to just vote yes to make sure that they're being paid their CDF and everything so that they can win, they can rest assured that they're not going to be coming back to Parliament again. This is something that I can tell you as a Mwananchi aspiring to be a leader of Langata, that nobody will accept this. People are not dumb. People are smarter. People understand what is happening. People are discussing on the ground level. People are uniting in different ways. People are taking their votes. And I'll assure you, Fred, that in come 2027, people will vote wisely and make sure that we have a better Kenya. This I can assure you.
Bwana Gakuya, we also witnessed some very interesting phenomena in Parliament during debate for the finance bill, that especially those opposed to the finance bill, some of them came out and vehemently claimed that there were clauses, they even mentioned some of these clauses, only to be forced to withdraw some of their statements because those clauses did not exist in the document that was before the House. It talks to a rather simplistic approach to a debate on such a crucial matter. What does it say about members of the National Assembly and the kind of work they put, the quality of work they put in these debates, given the fact that you have within your offices even the latitude to have researchers to read these documents before you comment on them in the House?
Idimoli, what I would say is that most of the time, this document comes very late to the attention of members. And you realize that there can be a bill and amendments are done. And after those amendments are done, because most of the clauses were there in the proposed, but actually by the time the bill is tabled, then some of them have been removed at committee level. And if that is done, probably member or any member has no clue, because you cannot be able to read that whole book and debate on it on the floor with that small fraction of time. So probably a member may stand to debate about the document in the knowledge of the proposed bill. But what is now on the floor is completely different. What I would say is, I would ask is that, even sometimes you tend to see reducing of time, even debate time. So time to debate, to research is not available. And I think that is where sometimes you find some get crashing because a member has not got enough time. Maybe he has gotten that piece of bill in 30 minutes time.
Is that the best way to represent your people, that you stand to speak before the National Assembly without the full knowledge, and you are forced to withdraw your statement on such a crucial matter?
It is not the best way, because the standard way is that you should stand to debate for what you understand.
Yes.
And before you put something on the floor, you have already researched it, and already you have the correct position of that particular aspect, and therefore it's a mistake. And I would say it does not occur in most of the time, but in this particular bill, there was such errors, and
because it was not just one instance; it was like 2 or 3 of them, and that brings questions over the quality of representation and even debate in as far as legislation is concerned. This parliament has been accused, and we've talked about this enough times. Do you now agree that some of these criticism and accusations are valid, especially when it comes to quality of the leaders we have?
One of the aspects we need to understand is that the confusion within the members themselves. And that's why I'm supporting Kakwe on this when he says you want to please your masters. Somebody wakes up, and you know, in a parliament, there is no guesswork. Okay? There's no guesswork. We don't debate what is not there. And you cannot debate a document you read 2-3 days ago. Before any debate, materials are circulated to all members. And I differ with him a little bit when he says maybe the member read this yesterday or the day before. It is your responsibility as a member to peruse whatever document has been presented for discussion. And it is not difficult. You know that yesterday I read Mitumba tax was there, and it is on clause this, number this. How much time do you need to take that paper when you are raising your hand, Mr. Speaker, sir, to confirm whether this document, which now you are discussing to pass, because you are not discussing to pass the earlier document, you are discussing to pass the document which is on the table. How much time do you need to confirm that this clause I read yesterday, it is exist or it was expunged from the records? Is it there or not? Number 2, that shows how laxly our members are, because before the bill is debated, it is read. It is read. And the committee comes to parliament, the chair stands and reads everything. So where were you when that wall was happening, when the material were being distributed in parliament, when cross-checking you are supposed to do yourself, because it's something you asked, and I want to advise my good friend. If you are trying to go to parliament, these are the things you need to do and you need to understand. Not just to wake up and shame yourself when you start talking of things which are not even there. And mind you, when I hear a member of parliament saying this bill is bad, that member of parliament has got all the powers within themselves to amend any clause which they feel is not right. And he has said it. Maybe some clauses were there and they were removed. Instead of telling Kenyans, this bill is bad, why don't you tell Mr. Speaker, I am proposing this amendment? And then you convince your colleagues and you tell your colleagues this clause is going to hurt our people, so can we remove it before you pass it now to the people to prosecute it? They gave you the powers, you are representing them as per the Constitution, and you cannot even sit down and amend a bill, because the government can propose anything. The executive will propose anything. It is upon the members. So I want to tell Kenyans, if there's anything with this bill which is wrong, don't point your finger to the president. Point to your member of parliament, the one you employed, the one who comes to you, the one who tells you the bill is bad. Before he tells you it's bad, ask him, where were you when it was being done? Because you are part and parcel of those architecture, those who are doing that bill. You are responsible. The member of parliament is the one who is responsible, not the president. Right. The president will only propose, but to make it is the members of parliament.
It would appear that many people want the job,
but
are not able to do it.
Before you close, I want to remind my good colleague Motambo, because he has been this one. You must also remember that, in fact, by the time of Whole House, these bills are debated cross by cross. And let me tell you, every clause is voted. The proposal for amendment is always on the floor. But he must also remember, it is majority that takes their day. Because votes comes, and after that votes, it's the determining factor is the speaker, whether the ayes have it or the nays have it. So you must also remember that's a procedure. So don't say that the amendments were not brought to the floor. There were many amendments, but they were defeated. Yeah.
So the members were not aware that there had been amendments.
Let me tell you how it goes. You know, we have to be very open. If I propose an amendment, it is my responsibility to convince my colleagues. If I just bring up an amendment and I don't tell Kaguya, I brought this and this is the essence of this and this, if I don't, because that's the work now. That's the work. So if you don't do your work and you expect the speaker to say yes, no, speaker is not even a debater into this matter. It is your responsibility. And I want the members to carry that responsibility,
I mean,
not to pass it to anybody.
Yes, Haji.
Even if you look at the ones that voted yes, I beg to differ. You know, I mean, what he's saying makes sense, but at the same time, it's not what actually is happening. Because if you look at the people who voted yes, these are the people who are always trying to please their master. So this is something that we already understand. But one thing that I really want to see, if possible, is to completely autonomize the salaries and everything of these MPs, like separately away from this kind of situation. Because I've seen it several times where MPs want their salary increased, MPs, you know, want their budgets released, want this, and they end up voting for something that is not right. You know what I mean? Are we trying to just push things that are going to hurt the Mwananchi, or are we trying to have a better country? You understand? So even if your colleague is proposing something that, you know, a clause that has a problem and is justifying why, you'll find that the majority trying to hit this MP completely, and it's something that will cushion the Mwananchi.
My question is,
so here are we representing
the level of awareness of a member of parliament rising in the House to debate something this crucial, and then they talk about something that does not exist. What does that say about that member of parliament? Many people want these jobs to become member of the National Assembly, like yourself, but it would appear that not all of them have the capacity or the heart for the job.
And that's why I come back to the voters again. We really need to be wise when picking our leaders. You understand? We don't want any absent leaders, to be honest. I would really want to see the attendance sheet at the end of this you know, term, to see how often these people have been going to parliament at all. You understand? This is where we are mandating a lot of power, giving a lot of power to this one person to represent the voice of the constituency. And at the same time, this guy shows up to parliament when he wants to, votes when they want to, vote how they want to,
debate things
and do what they want, yeah, exactly, and reject bills that will benefit us. You understand? Zero public participation between MPs and the constituent. You know, what is going on? Are we here to represent the Mwananchi, or are we here to just profit and chow? You know, it's a shame, to be honest. And we need to see the attendance of each and every one of these guys at the end of the term. If we gave you a job and you didn't show up, it means you're not taking this job seriously and you have to go.
Edimoli,
yes, one more time.
Allow me to inform my friend here. Just a point of information. And say that let us also not sit here and cascade members of parliament of saying things which they have not done a research. Okay? When I hear him say that we need to separate the issue of salaries and the members of parliament, the members of parliament do not handle their salaries. We have a commission. There is a commission, which is a commission by the constitution. It's a constitutional commission, which handles salaries not for only members of parliament, but all people who are working in Kenya, for civil servants. So we have that committee, just a point of information. So when you say we need to separate, I don't know where you are separating it from where.
The person who's saying that if they don't pass it, how are they going to get their salaries?
Because the salaries come from the budget.
I agree.
Everything comes from the budget, and it is the mandate of members of parliament to pass the budget.
Okay. Because of time, we have exactly 11 minutes. Allow me to give each one of you 3 minutes for your final comments. Let's start with you, Bonagakuya.
In fact, in the body, my take is that every single nation grows because of respecting the state, respecting the constitution. We remember, we all understand where we are coming from, and we know who is the sovereign, who has the sovereign. The sovereign is the people of Kenya, and that is what our constitution envisaged. Therefore, the power delegated, those who take undertakes the delegation of power must remember every other time that they represent people. And therefore, any decisions they take, any action they take, they must know that they are not representing wild beasts. They are representing people. So I think the best way to go is to know you are given this power to lead. And once you have that mantle, be all the time, having time to listen, to talk to your people, so that you can lie together. And I am telling you, if you take that route, you will not go wrong. This finance bill, anything else, talk to your people. The president has a duty, because he's the head of state. Instead of using bullying methods, brutalization of police, talk to the people, involve your people in the public participation, let them understand and let them buy your idea. And that way, you will grow together with them. Because whatever you want good, you don't want good for Uganda or Tanzania. You want good for Kenyans. And therefore, Kenyans, if they can buy your idea, that's the best way to go. And I think that's the duty we should take. And we should, after getting power, we should not worship, sing power as an instrument of being worshipped. Note that you're just given a paper by Kenyans to lead them. But you are not being given a mantle to dictate Kenyans to where they should go. And therefore, my take is, let the state be a listener. Let us listen to our people. Even by the time we are coming to this day 25, if we have listened to the Kenyans, well, I am sure we should not imagine to have any single loss of our life in this demonstration.
Right. And since I can see you still have a minute, I know the issue of the Gikomba fire is something very close to you. I'll give you that minute to talk about Gikomba.
Thank you very much. In fact, the matter to do with Gikomba fire, this is a matter that has repeating itself almost every other minute. And if the government the state is serious enough, it should have installed those gadgets like cameras and everything to make sure that they monitor the arsonist. Because we cannot be every single day waking up for a fire. And we should, at this moment in time, the government should have known the reasons why these fires occurs. We would like to know, is it an issue to do with a battle to do with that particular shamba? If the land has an issue, the state should make sure that they correct that position. Because we understand that Gikomba has no title. And if it does not have title, who has the title? The title should be the county government title. And what I believe is that it should be surrendered to the traders, or it is kept by the county as the custodian. But we should not be having these battles every other day. Last time we witnessed demolition of the same market. That market had a court order to stop demolitions. Still, the government went on and demolished it. It tells that we are not respecting our structures, because if the government cannot respect an order given by the court and still move in, demolish, and don't give alternative sites of those traders, it tells you don't kill them economically. And therefore, what I would say, anything that is happening today, the government, if it's serious enough, you cannot watch, you have a disaster to secure that kind of fire, but in fact it takes 10 hours to bring down that fire. Mm-hmm. It tells you how unorganized we are. And therefore, I will take the blame both to the county government and the national government, because they both has disaster teams, which should have led that control of the fire in good time. And tomorrow, we should not expect still Gikomba will be on fire. Let us have a solution that will give to an end this problem of Gikomba.
Thank you so much for that. Bwana Joe Mutambo, on the issues we've been discussing, parliament conduct, as well as the finance bill and the protests that we're anticipating.
I like talking of what I hear, and sometimes I listen to what is not being said. I want to say that it is not only the president or the government which should or must obey the Constitution. Constitution is there to be obeyed by every citizen or every Kenyan or any other person who resides within
boundaries of Kenya. We have to respect it. And it's not one way, it's not one-sided. It's both way. Those who are being led and those who are leading. Those who are in the power and those who are not in the power. Everybody must abide to the Constitution. It is not one-sided. Because the moment we put it that the government is not abiding with the, are we? You know, you also have to ask ourselves. Because when we don't audit ourselves, we may be the one who are on wrong. Then we blame the government. And like he has alluded, this issue of fires, okay, where is it coming from? We had just had a very sad incident in Nakuru, where where we lost so many. And before we even establish how this fire started, everybody was pointing fingers at the government. You have failed to do this. But you come to look at it, it emanated from the same people or the students who are actually being the owners, who enjoy those facilities. They are the one who did it. So all these things we are talking about, if we audit one side and we don't audit the other, we'll always have a gap. There will always be a gap. When we tend to be blaming the police and we don't we don't look at ourselves. I want to thank one of my pastors who told me, before I pray to God to make the other person.
Before we finish, who carries the agencies of investigation? Do you want to know that it's the people who investigate themselves?
No.
The investigation teams are within the corridors of government.
Yes.
So it's the duty of the government to make sure that if there is an event which has gone wrong, they investigate to the bottom.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
And I don't want to reintroduce
because we are hitting on my time. We like jumping the gun. When we start blaming the government before investigation, what are we saying? Okay. What are we doing? That's my point. Okay. So we should be patient enough to get to know so that we speak from an informed position. We don't talk just because you want to talk or you want to look like you are leader and you are talking for the people. All right? So my point here is everyone, and I was trying to say, I want to thank my pastor who told me, before I pray to God to make you good for me, let me pray God to make me good to you. All right? And once we move in that direction, all these willabaloos will not be there. Everybody who is doing any responsibility or is taking any responsibility, they must audit themselves first. If I am a demonstrator, I'm going to demonstrate to express my feelings or to express my dissatisfaction by the government. How am I doing it before I even get a tear gas? We had an incident here in Nairobi where Raila went to sue himself in, and there was no single police officer. Okay? And there was no chaos. So people went on their own businesses. So sometimes it happens. So if you go with that mode, because the people who went there, they had gone there purposely to swear in Raila. And the business was done and they went home. If the demonstrators demonstrate this goodwill as well, that we have come to demonstrate, to say like he said, that they be given Uhuru Park to hear their views there. But they don't want to do that. They want to make sure that they loot. We need to stop that habit because it is our country, like he's saying. It is our country, and we have to do it for the better of ourselves and for the better of our people.
Thank you so much, Maramutambo. Finally.
So thank you so much. I mean, just like in any country, there are good people and there are bad people. It's in every country. So we cannot generalize and say everybody is a criminal and all that. So to be honest, we're not looters. We are just protesters voicing out our concerns. Number one. Number two, about the Utumishi girl, people who are blaming the government for making sure how, in terms of the Ministry of Education, how can, this is a clear rule that boarding schools should not have grills. That's the reason why the girls could not escape. You know, there were some obvious things that don't even need investigation, but you can see that this was wrong and a clear fault to the people. Like, you know, even the Gikomba market, what is saying, how many hours to come and rescue. You don't have to wait for an investigation. You can see the kind of attitude the issue is being given, and you can quickly, judge. So there's some things that take time to be able to analyze and judge. And there's some things there for just point blank. I show you a video, you say, wow, this is not right. The government is to blame. it's natural. You can see clearly some situations you don't need to go in front of a court to tell you that this was right or this was wrong. So let us not try to protect what the government is sometimes failing at, because, like, for example, a court order, the government's supposed to follow the court order, because if the government doesn't follow, then who am I to follow? You understand? So to be honest, it has to lead by example, and we cannot just protect the government with whatever they're doing, because sometimes you find that they're doing something wrong, and the tendencies are that more and more are being done wrong. So to be honest, we need to be very careful and call out the government whenever such tendencies occur, where, you know, things that are going wrong out of the constitution, we have to call them out, because the next thing that will happen will be doing even worse, that is outside our constitution. Right. So we have a rule of law, we have a constitution, we have, everyone has their SOPs. Everybody knows what needs to be done at any particular point. If it's a matter of the finance bill, there are some clauses that he'll still have questions. Park them aside. Let's not just pass everything as a bunch. You understand? The good ones, let us take them out. The good, take them front. The bad ones, or the ones that have issues, let's take them back to public participation, you know, till everybody feels this is exactly the bill that we want. So to be honest, you know, putting in, it's like putting in big potatoes, and then at the bottom there are some small potatoes. We want big potatoes only. We don't want the small ones that are at the bottom. Simple.
Haji Omar, asanteni sana. Haji Omar, MP aspirant Langata constituency, Joe Mutambu, former MP Mwingi Central, and James Gakuya, MP Embakasi North. That has been our panel. Sitting member of the National Assembly, a former member of the National Assembly, and an aspirant, aspiring member of the National Assembly. Asanteni sana for your time at TV47 today, and for the very big discussions we've had around the finance bill, which is being assented to, the conduct of the members of parliament, and what we anticipate will happen on June 25th as we commemorate the lives that were lost in June 25th in 2024. Well, after the break, we switch gears and talk about matters water loss. Can the 2026-2027 budget plug the leaks? And Odida will be having that conversation. And I'll be back later on to talk about matters technology, the artificial intelligence revolution, your job, your future. My name is Indimuli Fred. We'll talk later.